Can we talk a little bit about authenticity? I feel like for me, that has been a word that has heavy meaning to it. I would say growing up, I've heard the word authenticity. I probably throughout my whole lifetime heard the word authenticity a million times. Be authentic, be have authenticity, all that good stuff. And that was like it was like one of those buzzwords that when you think about it, it actually sounds like really dope to be authentic. And in my mind, and this is just the definition. It's probably only one definition, but when I think of authenticity, that is being you, completely you and utterly you. Given that a lot of people I associate with, and I myself, I don't think I'm a bad person at my core. So when I say being completely and utterly you, this doesn't mean I'm stealing from folks, I'm knocking folks over, you know, doing whatever I have to do to get ahead. It's just me saying being authentically the person that I feel that God created me to be. Some things that are authentic to me, admittedly, is hard. It's so hard. I remember a couple years ago, I was going to school. I was working at Texas A&M, and my supervisor at the time was a very big proponent of the enneagrams, where you go. I think it's 1 through 9. You could place yourself on the enneagram, and after reading through all of them, you think you associate yourself with all. Oh, I'm a number 2, which I believe is the healer, or I'm number 4. I think 4 is the romantic. They allergies. Hold on. All right, I got my Allegra. We back on. Woo. It probably sounded crazy, but it felt good. I felt like it was just there, just needed to come out. Um. All right. So going back to my time in Texas A&M, the boss that I had, he was really big into like the Enneagram. So I believe it's 9. So again, I was saying maybe I'm 2, which is the healer. You know, I'm always trying to be there to help somebody out. Maybe I'm the 4, which is the romantic person, I guess. And that's not like romantic in the way we would understand it to be, but every situation that they're in, they romanticize it. So I associated with that one. I was like, oh, maybe it's that one. Maybe that's why I'm always so dramatic about certain things. Um, what other one? It was. I think one is I think number 3 or number 5. One of those is the driver, and that's somebody that's always like accomplishing, getting things done. I associate that one with my dad. He's the driver, and I thought maybe I'm that one. But when you get to the last Enneagram, I believe 9 is the last one. I think it's the peacemaker, the peace builder, or something like that. And the peace builder, for lack of a better word, is the one that encompasses all of them. They know how to blend in, be a chameleon to each and every one. So, and that was the hardest one to really settle with. When I heard it, I resonated with it because I resonated with all of them. I was like, oh, maybe I'm a 2, I'm a 4. And something hit me, said, maybe you're the 9 because you think you're all of these things. But being a 9 did not sit well with me, if I'm being honest, because 9 didn't really have a identity or anything of its own. Being a 9 on the Enneagram meant that you were essentially a blend of all these other different things. You know how to blend in to be the healer. You know how to take on the form of the driver if you need to. You know how to romanticize certain things. And it hit me, and I was like, man, don't tell me I'm the one without an identity. Like, am I number 9? Is that who I am? And I literally was like, no. I remember really digging in. I like number 4, which is the romantic one. I like that one because it really empowers you. Like I am the main character, and that's the main character energy. And I found myself being that in some places where all eyes were on me, and I liked it. Um, so I think I went full speed into being the number 4 on the Enneagram, and it was good. But then I also see myself being the opposite of the 4 sometimes. So the 9 always admittedly was flashing like, hey, buddy, come on home. You're a 9. That's what you are. You're a peacemaker. You're a peace builder, whatever it's called. And I just kept fighting it. I'm not a peace builder. I don't want to be that. I don't want to blend into all these different ones. I want to be distinct. I don't want to be a 1 through 8 as my identity. I want to just be who I am and let me do that. And I had a season where I was actually winning as a four. I was being out there in the eye. I was stepping up. I was leading things, and the four just seemed like the best one for me. Ooh, excuse me. But as I'm getting older, I realize the common theme that I struggle with is identity. And when I say identity, I attach that a lot with authenticity. I feel like to be authentic in who you are, you have to have a really, um, you know, toned in, or not even toned in. That's not the word I'm looking for. To be authentic, you have to know your identity. I feel like they can't, you can't have one without the other. To be authentic, you have to know your identity. You have to be comfortable in your identity, and you have to walk that out. You have to walk that identity out to be authentic. And that is something that I've always struggled with. And over the years, I told you all in a couple other videos, I like to sit down, I like to journal, I like to write. And identity, authenticity, those are words that literally, if I look back at my writing, and I started writing religiously back in 2021, but if I go back to my writing, one common theme from 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, up until this very moment, is this idea of authenticity and identity. And still grasping with it, struggling with it. Are you the one that's pushing the envelope and you get your value in creating things? Or are you the one that's just, being able to feel comfortable sitting back and just play in the back seat? What is the identity? Which one are you taking on? And in this season, I remember writing a couple days ago, and I remember thinking, like, man, who are you from a authentic space? Like, take everything off, right? You've been doing this podcast thing. You've been interviewing people, and they're seemingly showing you who they are, their authenticity. Um, you've been going to work. You started a new job not too long ago, and they give you platform to show your authenticity. In your relationship, you have the environment to be authentic. Are you being that with your family? They've always allowed for it. Are you being authentic with them? And if I had to be honest, I would have to say no, because I don't think I'm being authentic with myself. So who am I? Who am I? It's hard, even when I know so many people. You ask them like who are you? Who are you? And they'll tell you, oh, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. And I've always been jealous of those people because they just seem to know themselves. They're very, very candid about who they are, what they like, what they do. And these are the people that, in third grade said they were gonna work for the government, or they were gonna be in film, or they were gonna start a family. And then they were so intentional along the way that, shoot, at 33 years old, you look at them and like, oh, they did exactly what they said they were gonna do. I never was that. When people would ask me, what do you want to do? I remember one time I said, I want to be a firefighter. I remember a little bit later, I want to be an actor, or I want to be a writer. I want to be a podcaster. I'm currently working in human resources. And I've never nailed down on one thing where I say, oh, this is going to be the thing that I do, because I didn't know what my identity was. So, while I'm still learning my identity, I think there are some things that's been revealed to me that I actually like to do. I think I am a person that can take very complex, nuanced ideas and kind of bring them all together, and I actually enjoy it. Give me you get, like, for example, we used to, when I was a kid, our garage was always junky. It always had things flying all over the place, and most people would get in there and be like, oh no, close the door. And I wanted to do that, but the other thing of me was like, yo, this is actually kind of fun to take something that's a mess and then create order out of it. So I do know at my core, I actually do enjoy doing that. The biggest thing that I like to take order of and, flush out an idea that's comprehensive and put it in process so it can be something that's tangible, rather that's a process or something that I'm building. The biggest thing that I like to take control of and handle is my mind. If I'm being honest, it's not a garage, it's not a work process, it's not Anything other than my mind, because my mind is very jumbled. My mind looks exactly like that garage. And if any of my siblings are watching this, or even if you have parents who tend to hold on to things, you'll notice a room in your house, or you'll notice the garage or a closet, whatever. You open up that closet and you're like, yo, this is too much. Let's just get rid of everything. But the problem with getting rid of everything is there's some good things in there too. And and my dad was a little to blame with the garage, but it was mostly my mom. But I think I understood where she was coming from. You open up that door. If I open that door and I'm telling her, I don't know how many conversations I had with her. It's like, let's just get rid of it, get the U-Haul, dump it all. I didn't realize that 2 months later the garage would look exactly the same, because all we did was just get rid of the stuff and gave it to the Salvation Army, or put it in the trash can. We never really understood why she was collecting things. We never understood why the day after we got rid of everything in the garage, she went right back to Salvation Army and seemingly started bringing more stuff into the house, and then eventually led to the garage. We didn't understand that, and I don't even think we took the time to understand it, because it was just, we hated it. Was an eyesore. We just wanted it out. It was ugly. It was dangerous. I remember a neighbor coming over while we're cleaning up the garage, and he said, "Wow, this is a fire hazard." I don't know why. Why did he have to say that? I don't think it was uncalled. Fire hazard is crazy. All right. So what was I saying? So what I was saying is, the thing that resembles the garage in my mind is my mind. The thing that resembles the garage that we used to clean up, it seemed like every 6 months, is my mind. My mind is so many different ideas, so many things that help me feel empowered, so many different things that help me feel doubt, so many different things that it's everything. And I don't think I'm alone here. I think most of us, I think most of us will say that our mind is the thing that we kind of live out of. It's like, I guess, living out of your luggage. You don't put anything away. You just kind of take a shirt out of the suitcase and you put it on and things like that. I feel like mine is the same way. I feel like my mind is exactly the same way, where instead of actually doing a deep dive into what's in my mind, and not just dumping everything out or just leaving everything. I don't think that's ever the case. I don't think that's ever the right answer. Um, I think the right answer is to stand at the door for a little bit, take it all in. What is in here? Okay, I do know for a fact I can get rid of that. That's broken, that's trash. We're never gonna fix it. Yes, we gotta get rid of that. But that's the problem with bringing a U-Haul and just dumping everything in there, because when you look across it from there, there's something that we just bought that is brand new, that would be perfect, we can use it today if we just can get it out and bring it to the house. So one approach, throw everything away or don't touch anything at all. I don't think that's it. I think your mind is such a beautiful thing that you do have to sit with some things for a little bit. And I also think that it's worth working things out and working on things while they're there, because that's the $1 million idea. That's the healing you're looking for. That's the thing that you're wanting to overcome. It's right there in your mind. I don't believe it's going to be somebody that knocks on your door and gives you the check that solves everything, or it's not going to be the ex coming back to you saying how wrong they were and now you're finally healed. I think sitting with a lot of the things that we have jumbled in our mind long enough that we allow a presence outside of us, and for me, that's God. I'm sitting there. I'm not running around. I'm not taking on a new identity, because with that, what I was going to say is, with me taking on different identities and, becoming the tool and the healer and solving everything, or becoming the driver, becoming the one that I'm the main star and everything, or I'm the one that's not, don't need to be the star at all. Taking on all these identities is just my way of shutting the door. That's it. It's just my way of saying, it's easier for me just to become somebody else, as opposed to sitting with my own thoughts and working through these things, because it takes time. The good part about that with time is, when you invite God into the mix, he's helping you. He's giving you discernment, where he's like, hey, yep, I can confirm, throw that thing away. You don't need it. You was never supposed to have it in the first place. And then it's those things where you don't really know, and he's like, yeah, you're going to need this. This was perfect. I'm glad. You were never going to touch it anyway, but it's here. You're going to need this. This one taking the house now. This is a immediate use. This one, okay, if you fix it, you can use that. But I feel like what I'm saying is when you sit with it long enough, as opposed to taking on a new identity, then it allows you to actually see your way clear in your mind. So when I say who am I from an identity lens or from an authentic lens, I'm a thinking person. A lot of the time, I feel like the world doesn't have time for you to think. It's just all about reacting. Who's the first one that can say it? Who's the first one that can put content out? Who's the first one that can make it to the finish line? And life kind of feels like a race that you sitting with yourself doesn't seem like a benefit to the outside eye. Like it doesn't, like he's slow, he's lazy, he's not comprehending. These are all the things that I associate with sitting tight and really allowing God to work through my mental and my emotions and the things that I have jumbled in my mind. So you take on the identity of let's go, let's get it done fast, let's put it out now, let's do all of those things. And since it's not your true identity, and that means you're not really being authentic, you're really just taking on what you feel you're supposed to be doing based off the world's reaction to a slow person or somebody that moves slow. And you do that for as long as you can, but because it's not your true identity, you crash, you hit a wall. The compromising and the sacrificing you've done to be what you feel other people want you to be becomes too much, and it's like, all right, I'm tired. So the door's still closed. When you're growing as fast, you just don't even, it's out of sight, out of mind. But then the other hand, you open the door and you just sit in it and you dwell. And that's the other part of it, where you just kind of sit in the junk of your mind and you can't see it clear. You're not really moving, because when the door is closed, you can move. You was agile. You could do whatever you needed to do. But in this case, now you're sitting amongst the junk and you just feel blah. Is the best word. You just feel blah. You feel like I can't move in it. I can't think. What's the point? It's too much work. Why even get started? And then that's where this hopelessness comes from. And you just stop working. You just don't do anything. Now, again, to a person who's a thinking person at your core, and you are the person who loves to take jumbled things and make them comprehensive or make them in a usable way, that for me is something that literally eats me alive. That is similar to someone who is really big into health, and that's all they think about, and that's them in their authentic form. But maybe they break a leg or a hand, and they're not able to run or lift like they want to, or maybe they're not able to eat the food that helps them nourish their body, so they're feeling horrible internally. That is literally equivalent to someone as myself in my authentic form. When as I'm getting older, I don't want to run from jumbled things and making them streamlined and comprehensive and usable. But the complete opposite of when you run so fast and then it's not appreciated, nobody appreciates it, or whatever the case may be, the complete opposite is just sitting in your thoughts and not doing anything about it. Both of them feel absolutely horrible. I think the most people will probably choose the first option because you're actually getting stuff done, but you actually hit a wall and you crash. It's inevitable. Absolutely inevitable. You can do it for as long as you can until you finally hit a wall and you're like, I can no longer do this, because it's not who you truly are. The other flip side is, how long can you sit and dwell in hopelessness? I know a lot of us have done that before, but for me, just like when I'm moving fast and I finally hit a wall, I'm gonna always hit a wall there as well. So over the years, this has led me to come to the conclusion, I'm not a person in my authenticity that avoids my jumbled mind and my junky garage, my proverbial junky garage. I'm not a person that avoids it. I'm not a person that goes around it and I wish and hope I can one day park in my messy garage. I'm a person that sits, that looks in the garage, right? I'm also a person that doesn't mind doing the work to put things where they need to be, because I'll also know if I'm in charge, there's going to be some things that get out of hand and that you have to restack. But I also know that if I'm in charge, I can help from it looking like this ever again. One thing to notice about your proverbial junky garage, I love using this because it's just the image in my head when I think of my mind. A lot of the things that's in your mind that you probably are struggling with are things that you probably didn't even put there. A lot of the things you built on top of course. But going back to the garage, that first couch that's in there, that's the very first one you probably didn't put there. You Somebody probably close to you, maybe a parent or a sibling or a coach or a neighbor, whatever. They put that first thing in there. You were just a blank canvas. You couldn't paint on yourself. So as people taught you and they made you learn things about yourself, they put paint on your blank canvas, or they put a couch in your garage. And I don't know, maybe for them it looked like a good space to store new things because it was blank. So let's put more paint on that canvas. Let's put more things in that garage. And seemingly going back to when I was a kid, a lot of the things in the garage that we was cleaning out wasn't mine. I didn't buy this stuff. I was just a kid. I probably had a few bags of clothes that I contributed, but a lot of the times I was cleaning up things that maybe my mom or my dad had bought that broke and they moved to the garage, or just things they didn't want to use. So I'm cleaning out these things, and I think that's the hardest part is when you're looking in your proverbial garage and when you're looking at your mind, a lot of the things you'll say, I didn't even put here. I don't know where to put it. Is it, I don't know. Where does it go? The things that I put in, I know exactly what I need to do to get out of it. But that first couch was just a seed. Now you got things on top of it, and it all seems jumbled together. And that's where the mind looks. It's jumbled. They got stuff in here. I got stuff in here. I don't know what to do with it. That's why I think it's important to sit with it. It's not just let me move as fast to get everything out to the U-Haul, or let me just dwell in everything. It really is about who you invite into that space. Now, when I was a kid and we would clean out this garage, I wasn't thinking of God, but I think the lesson there was you invite the right people into your space. Who was in the garage with you, because it'd be some siblings that when you're in that junky space and you have to clean it out, they made it fun. They made it, the music was blasting. You were able to kind of maneuver through those, and I always loved those times. But then there was other people that when you bring it to that space, they made it just feel even more heavier. Why is this even in here? How long you had this in there? Why is this there? Why? And they would just make it complain. That stuff's contagious. I would sometimes become that person if I was around that person long enough. I would find myself complaining and this don't make no sense. And you got to be careful, because when you're with that, I am someone who, as much as I like to build processes that are jumbled, I am a chronic complainer. I will complain, especially if I'm not aware of what's going on. I will literally again, I'm a 9, so that means I take on different people's identity, and I can conform to what they're doing. So if I'm around somebody that's complaining all the time, it ain't nothing for me to join in and help them in their complaining. If I'm around somebody who has a jolly spirit, it's nothing for me to join into that to become jolly. I prefer, especially when you're doing hard work, messy work, to be around those people, because they have a different perspective or mindset of it, and it just makes the job easier. So much harder when you're the other person, when you're working with the other person who's just complaining, because I know I will take that on as well. I've done it at work. I've done it cleaning up the real garage and the proverbial garage. I've done it so many different times. So it matters who you have in the space with you. And that's not to say you're left to clean out your jumbled mind by yourself, but I also think inviting the right people. So I'm always going to have God in my corner. I'm going to sit long enough to have him direct. And then having some core people in my life that I trust, that, is confidential. Not everybody, nobody is in here except for God. But there's going to be some things that I pull out, on a driveway and say, I'm not going to share that with everybody, but it's like, hey, you see this. What do you think? So being authentic for me, going back to the topic, this sitting with the awkwardness, is really being authentic and really honing in I say honing in, really embracing your identity. And I understand things can change over time, but for me, just looking at myself, my true identity is someone who finds pleasure in taking those jumbled thoughts in my mind and acting on them, not running so fast and building things that I think you might like, or not just sitting in it, not doing nothing with it. It's inviting God into the space and Him guiding me and say, hey, there's some good things in here. Let me show you how to build it out. Let me show you what to get rid of. Let me show you how to take this thing to the next level. And that's where I get my peace from. I think over the past week, I probably lost a little bit of that. It probably went more so with the sitting with the thoughts and not really doing much with it. And again, how long does that truly last? It doesn't last often before I'm like, okay, I got to get to work. And I love that about me. If I'm talking about my true authentic self, and I'm talking about my true identity, that's what I bring to a situation. I would like to think my family, people that work with me, people that know me would agree with that. But then again, it might not surprise me if they didn't know, because I'm just finding this out about myself, and they probably know me for what they knew me as when they knew me, because I was conforming. In this space, in this day and age, if you know me, I hope your interpretation of me is that, yeah, he's the person that we can hand over a whole bunch of things that's just broken into pieces, and it's all over the place. It doesn't make any sense. And we can give it to him, and he'll say, all right, bet, I got you. We're going to turn this into something that's tangible, that's usable. And they might even say, oh, he complains a lot when he does it. And I'm working on that. But ultimately, once I get past that, they'll probably say that I give them back something that's usable, tangible, all that good stuff. And I love that for me. That's my true authenticity. So what I'm learning in this season is I can't run as fast as I can because people are expecting me to run as fast as they want me to run. Can't do that. Got to get rid of it. Stop doing that. Flip side, I cannot just sit on things just because it seems like too much. What's the point? I can't do that either. Both of those spaces is completely wrong. Going back to the Enneagram, am I a 9? And I have to go back and read it because I might have a different perspective on it now. But if I am a 9, I think that would make sense that I'm able to take so many different pieces and relate to it. I think if I'm a 9, it's something that I should embrace, but I'll do more research. Maybe I'll go on this journey and see what is my true number. Yeah, I think that actually sounds like a fun thing. So sitting with the awkward was really about, for this week for me, was really about authenticity and identity. Living in that thing, really embracing it. And I feel like I'm in a season where if I'm not authentic, if I'm not truthful, I will be miserable or I will be burnt out. Those are the only two options. So being authentic, putting out the content that I want to put out, putting it out at the speed that I want to put out is going to keep me right aligned where I want to be. And I'm looking forward to that. And I'm happy that I'm able to do that. And I'm able to give that to myself. If you see me start running too fast, or if you see me not doing anything at all, you'll know that I probably put myself in, again, going back to my proverbial garage, you'll probably see that I got the door shut. I'm not dealing with any of my stuff. Or you can be willing to bet that I'm laying in the midst of my junk and I'm feeling sorry for myself. If I put that stuff out and I'm making myself accountable, tap in with me. Ask me like, hey, how's the garage cleaning going? And I'll be like, oh man, I appreciate it. First, I know you watched this video, and I'll know you actually care. And then it leads me to identify my current location. Because if you ask me that and I say, and I haven't been in there, that means I'm probably people pleasing and living for the world. If I tell you, if I get you one of those, if I hit you with one of those, that means I'm currently just living in it and I ain't doing nothing about it. But if I'm speaking real and I give you an answer that's grounded, then you'll know that I'm actually currently working and putting some things away. And, pray for me that I continue to stay in that space. And I'm going to pray for you that you continue to stay in your authentic form, whatever that is. I believe that's what this video is for, just to question it. What space are you in? What space are you working through right now? Are you moving so fast because you're looking to build something that you're eventually gonna burn yourself out, or are you living in a hopeless place where you're like, you know what, I'm not doing anything, it's not moving fast enough, what's the point? Try to get yourself back to that middle ground of understanding you're not the worst and you're not first. I always love that saying. You're not the worst person out there and you're not the first person to ever do it. You're right there somewhere in the middle, and embracing that identity of knowing like, hey, I'm good enough as I am. As long as I'm working on my stuff, cleaning out my proverbial garage, and I'm getting things done, putting things away, you're doing exactly what needs to be done. So thank y'all for looking at another series of, either sitting with the awkwardness or a peace of mind for my peace of mind, interchangeable. Probably title this one a peace of mind for my peace of mind because it's giving me peace of mind to get back and turn the camera on and put out this content. There's more episodes that will be coming. Now I'm looking forward to showing. And that's all I got. Appreciate y'all. As always, be easy. Sitting in dark, who would have known that the deepest fear stuck in